Okay, here we go then. The last race of the day, it's all to play for. Race 2, it all comes down to the next 14 laps. And away they go. Now, and there's Darren spinning out as well. Darren, there's contact there, push Kieran wide. Oh, but he's gone off. What's going on? Shane's also there in the BMW. Oh, nearly loses it. Kieran's going to have to slow down. No, he's gone too much. It's Josh here, and he is leading. This is fantastic for Josh. Oh, a bit of a luck tap. And Josh, oh my God, who's going to take it? I think it's Darren. I think it's going to be Rob. Rob gets it. He's actually on the grass. This isn't good for Tom. And he's made the move. Look at that. Through Eau Rouge. Oh, that's Mike. Mike's gone off. Oh, Craig sideways. Big time. Is it going to be enough? No, Sam takes it and takes the title ahead of Tom. Welcome to the first ever one make race for the FeckWrest Tourers Support Series. This is an experiment and a test for the potential to see a Season 3 one make championship. So let's see who's entered into the first ever one make race. This is an Audi TT special. So in this race we have Mike, Mark, Tom, Kieran, Craig, Stephen, Heath, Harry is there as well. And looking at this, we have a real mixture of paint jobs. Some are keeping to their similar to their FeckWrest Tourers for Season 2. So Stephen obviously in the bright hot pink. Tom is in a very similar STP backed liveried Audi TT, but Craig is going for a standard plain white, as is Cooke in the gold. Rob going for a nice blue with the pink, and Mike Kuiper's going for a silver Audi racing TT look with the red writing. So let's have a little look at the grid, which has been decided to be done in reverse championship positions from the Dragon Trail positions. Let's have a look at the grid now. Here's your grid then for the Audi TT one make special. On pole position on the front row of the grid is Stephen Heath in the hot pink as usual. Next to him is Rob Kellett, who's going for a blue with the pink wheels. Row 2 we've got Harry Cooke with a very, very similar orange liveried Audi TT. Next to him we've got Kieran, who's gone for a plain gold look. Row 3, Tom Foster has gone for a K-Tech inspired livery STP backed Audi TT. Next to him is Mike Kuiper's with a grey Audi Sport looking Audi TT. Row 4 is Mark Nichol in the Red Bull livery, of course. Next to him is Darren Parker in a grey livery with a bright green wheels. And at the back row of the grid, of course, is our championship leader, Craig Kellett, in a plain white livery. Okay, so here we go then. 9 laps, a shortened race for the Audi TTs, of course, because they are unmodified road versions of the Audi TTs. Away they go then. Good start by Heath. And Rob drops down to third already. Kieran already putting the pressure on him. And Tom is just behind the two here. On board with Tom then, who's running behind Kieran and has already got Craig running up on the outside in the white TT. These cars are much closer spec'd and slower than the standard Tourers, so the racing will be hopefully a bit closer, much more fairer, and already a lot of bumping and barging going on between the guys. And oh, what's going on with Mark? Is that a problem? Mark pulls to one side, and Mark, I think, has he got a problem? I'm not sure what's going on with Mark, so Mark might be out. So unfortunately Mark is down to the back of the grid, potentially out of this race. It's close here between Kieran and Mike, so Kieran running very close to Mike. A bit of contact there, and that is Harry running in the gravel. So Harry is down now to 6th position. Bit of a mistake there by Harry. So Craig is now running just ahead of Mike. And Craig looking to get ahead of Kieran, and sideways action. And Craig's got ahead of Craig, sorry. Kieran has got ahead of Mike. Craig ahead of Kieran. As they go into lap 2, Mike is on the inside of Kieran. And Harry has got a good run, so is Tom. On board with Tom then. So Tom looking to get past Harry, touching the grass on the outside there. A little bit of contact. I think Tom decides to slot in beside with Darren just behind Tom then. As they go into the tight hairpin bend of turn 2. Darren looking on the back of Tom here. Darren has gone completely different with his grey livery with the green wheels. Tom looking, and Darren goes wide and actually hits the gravel. So gravel running for Darren there, who has dropped quite far behind now. Heathy is so far ahead in the race lead here, ahead of Rob. Look how much of a gap he's got. Unbelievable. So Craig now looking to get past Rob to take second position. This is close racing between the two, and there is Rob running a little bit wide, as does Kieran and Mike. Lots of tyre screeching, but these are road going versions of the TT, and the guys have all decided to stay with the standard spec to make the racing a little bit more interesting, to control these cars. So Mike is trying to catch up with Kieran, and Harry on the back end of Tom now. In actual fact, we've got a battle here between Kieran and Mike. So gold and grey, as Kieran runs a little bit wide as he exits. And Mike is now catching up with Rob and Craig, so could potentially get a little bit of a podium out of this. All the guys looking to get to grips with these TTs very quickly. Very little testing of these, and as I said, this is just a test at the moment to see whether it's a viable option to run a one mate series on the back end of the Tourers for season 3 as a support series, whether we'd have the same cars all throughout the season or a different one make each time, and we would run it as its own championship with a winner at the end of it. Anyone can enter, not everyone has to. It's just a little bit more fun, a little bit more fair, as everyone runs in the same car. So Mike now running on the inside of Rob into third, but Rob not letting Mike get away with that podium. So Rob drops back into fourth, and Mike now is looking to get on the outside of Craig, and he does. So Craig has got Mike up into second and has lost second. Look at, oh, contact there. Oh, contact again. Mike doing his usual drifting allowed Craig to hit Mike, who unfortunately then got hit by Rob in the blue TT. We can have a little look at the replay of that and have a look at it now, see what happened. Let's have a look at this again. So Craig gets overtaken by Mike on the outside going into turn 2 here. So Mike has got the position, drifts around the corner, and then contact between Craig and Rob. Let's have a look on board with Rob as we see the two battling up ahead. And you'll see in a minute Mike does the drift around the corner and then contact with Craig. Yep, so Mike up to his usual antics and trying to drift that TT round the corner. Didn't quite work out as it normally does. A battle here between Harry and Darren now, looking good. Harry going sideways, the back end kicks out quite easily in these TTs. So Harry on the back end of Darren, and it is at the back of the grid here, but there are no points in it for this particular race. We will be doing a few more one make tests throughout the back end of season 2 here at the Tourers. The next one will be at Goodwood in a set of classic minis in the spirit of Goodwood Classic Festival historic runs. So Tom running in 6th a little bit on his own, with Kieran behind Rob, Craig behind Mike, who is now in second, running a strong second. And actually Heathy has dropped back a little bit, so can Mike catch up with Heathy? Be good if he could. Spaced out a little bit. It's still a fight going on between Darren and Harry here. We're on lap 5 of 9. It's just a few laps to go, and Harry going down on the inside, and it's still a great fight between Harry and Darren here. These are so much slower than the Tourers, but close racing to be seen. Hopefully a few more cars next time in the minis. Kieran now running very close with Rob. So Kieran up in 5th, just ahead of Tom, and potential for a battle here between 4th, 5th and 6th. Harry still looking on the back of Darren. See the rear wing as it retracts as it brakes. This is great racing between the two. And Harry has got an opportunity to get down the inside of Darren now, and still can't quite get him. I think Tom's catching up a bit on Kieran here now. And it could be a good battle. Tyre screeching. Let's have a look. It's still going on between Harry and Darren. Harry loves going sideways in that TT, and in actual fact it's hurt him because he's gone very wide into the gravel. So lost a lot of time to Darren there. So a lot more hard work to get back on the back of him. Let's see Tom now, who is on the back end of Kieran. So a good little battle here is brewing. Rob still in a strong 4th. And Tom has got a good run on Kieran now. And Tom's had a look on the inside and has had a go, and now they're side by side as they run down the back straight. A little bit of a push. Of course, these are teammates in the Tourers, racing as single entities in this race here. So Tom has got ahead of Kieran now. Can Kieran get back up and in touch with Tom? Rob still looking good in fourth. Can Tom catch up with Rob? Checking up on the leads. He's still Craig in third, Mike in second, and look at now the gap between Heath and Mike in second. The gap was huge, and it's almost a normal gap now, so it could be interesting. It could develop. And there is Tom on the back of Rob, because Rob run wide. It says do not overtake, just like they do in the Nissans for their Tourers, but Tom isn't listening and is going on the outside. So this is developing into a nice three-way battle. Tom's got up on the inside, a bit of contact there between Rob and Tom, so that's allowed Kieran to get on the outside of Tom and goes back into fifth. So Kieran's back ahead of Tom down to sixth. This is lap 8 of 9, so it's gonna come down to the last lap. And look at this, Mike is now catching up with Heath. A lot of work is done, and it's paid him now into second. A very looking strong to go into first. It's the lead of this race, Heathy, with his usual running wide antics. The stewards are looking hard into the techniques of Heathy as he raced in all three races. Oh, there's Tom and Kieran. So this is getting quite physical now between Tom and Kieran, but it's close action racing. Onto the final lap. So Kieran on the back end of Tom, and Kieran's got a great run out to the first bend. And he's not quite got past, so Tom is still ahead of Kieran as they go into the tight hairpin bend. A push and another push by Kieran. Pushes him out of the way, and it's pushed Tom wide. So Tom's gone wide, and Kieran has got an opportunity to get ahead, and does so. So Kieran is ahead of Tom. Let's have a little look at Craig. There's Craig, and there's Mike and Stephen. So they're battling for the lead on the last few laps. So Stephen is now behind Mike. Mike is leading this race. Can you believe it? Into the final lap of this race after the lead that Stephen had. As they come into the final bends. God, there's massive contact there between Stephen and Mike. Mike is running really wide. And so does Stephen. Stephen's on the grass. Who's going to take the win? It's going to be Mike. Mike just takes it ahead of Stephen. Craig is going to take third. Rob's going to come and take fourth. Who's going to take fifth? Is it Kieran? It is Kieran. Takes fifth ahead of Tom in sixth. Darren's going to come and take seventh. And Harry will take eighth sideways. Looks like he's enjoying the car more than the race. Harry takes eighth. Let's have a look at the replay of Stephen and Mike. Let's have a look at the final few corners between Mike and Stephen. Stephen just goes way too fast into the corner. Big contact as Mike's doing the drifting again. Stephen cuts the corner, goes very wide onto the grass, hits the wall himself, slows him right down. But yeah, I think he slowed down on purpose to let him past to take the win. The race results in for the first ever Audi TT One Make Series. Mike takes the win just ahead of Stephen, who finishes ahead of Craig in third. Rob takes fourth, Kieran takes fifth, Tom takes sixth, Darren is seventh ahead of Harry, and of course Mark doesn't finish the race.